Welcome back to Bay Sunday. Please welcome our next guest, Dan Nevins. Dan, thank you for joining us here this morning.
Absolutely, Kenny. Great to be here.
Absolutely. You were a veteran, fought in the war in Iraq in 2004. Take us back to that year. What happened? And how did that change your life?
Yeah. In 2004, it was business as usual. It was heavy combat in Iraq. I was a squad leader in Task Force Tacoma. And, you know, it's the typical, you know, what you'd expect from combat. The fun camaraderie with your guys, and then the not so fun moments of explosions and firefights and things like that. And then on November 10th, 2004, my life was changed forever. Headed out for a normal combat mission, counterinsurgent combat operation, and boom. My truck was blown about 6 feet in the air in a ball of fire. I headed out for a routine patrol on this really terrible dirt road. I remember it was pitch black outside and completely silent. And I was actually in a prayer when the explosion happened, and I could basically feel and hear the truck disintegrate around my body. And when I opened my eyes, I realized that I was ejected from the vehicle, but my legs remained caught in the twisted and burning metal that used to be the floorboard and undercarriage of the truck. And ultimately, thanks to great teammates and great combat medicine, my guys were there in no time, and I had a tourniquet on my leg. My femoral artery was cut in half. I had an IV in my arm, and my whole team were there in no time to remove my legs from that truck that was still on fire. So I'm lucky to be here, and very, very grateful to the fellows I served with.
And not everyone in that truck survived.
No, my good friend, Sergeant First Class Mike Adelini, who I wear this bracelet for every day, made the ultimate sacrifice, and his family's right up the road in Sebastopol in Sonoma County, and still in contact with his son, daughter, and it's kind of like his family's a part of mine now. And every day I look at this and it reminds me to live. And Mike was the hardest working human being I've ever met. It also reminds me to work hard.
And how do you work hard now?
So I work hard in a lot of ways. I'm a professional speaker, so I get to tell stories all over the world, and that's kind of what pays the bills, but my passion is teaching yoga, which is the weirdest thing I've ever said as a military guy, right? I never expected it, but...
It's cool to do yoga now.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. I like to think I had something to do with that. Right. No, not really, but it is something that has actually healed me. For a decade, I pushed myself physically. I was climbing Kilimanjaro, I rode my bike all around the country, I was competitive at golf. All these things were really ways that I was using to run from the invisible wounds of war. And then a little over 2 years ago, I had a surgery on my right leg where I couldn't wear my prosthetic. And I had another surgery, and it went home to heal alone. And for 8 weeks, I couldn't wear a leg. I was hopping around on crutches and one prosthetic. I couldn't take care of my 3-year-old daughter. I couldn't ride a bike or play golf. And those invisible wounds kept haunting every day. And I couldn't get to sleep, and then when I was asleep, I'd wake up with a nightmare, and I needed help. And a friend suggested yoga. Told her she was crazy, but then she suggested meditation. So I said, okay, that's a little more palatable for me as a warrior. And I did it and saw immediate benefit. Called her to say thank you, and the next thing you know, I was in a yoga class.
So you were able to find some kind of inner peace through yoga, and how are you helping other wounded warriors and veterans these days now through yoga?
One of the best things I get to do with yoga is I teach all over the world, sometimes 1,500 people in a class, and I tell them to invite a veteran to yoga because it just might save their life. And that's great because it's just, I don't want classes full of veterans, because I want there to be a veteran in every yoga class, next to the TV anchor, who's next to the next to the pharmacist, who's next to the lawyer, right? Because we're all just human beings at the end of the day. But I know this population is a little more resistant than most. So I'm creating Warrior Spirit Retreat. It's a retreat center in St. Augustine, Florida, where warriors can come and learn what I learned about mindfulness and meditation and yoga and how to heal in a way that's more in alignment with what they're used to. So there's opportunities on organic farming and equine therapy and showing cutting horses and fishing and boating and golf, all these really mindful recreation activities, but that's grounded on a curriculum based on mindfulness, meditation, and yoga. So they'll be doing yoga every day, But that's not what I'm leading with for them, because I need to get them in the door.
Right.
So it's going to be amazing.
And so you're doing yoga, you're also building a brotherhood amongst veterans outside of the normal activities that a veteran would get involved with.
Absolutely. So like the veteran community is really tight-knit. And the more I can expose other warriors to doing yoga, to practicing yoga and things that they might not necessarily, have aligned themselves with otherwise, the more that they'll invite and be an invitation for more and more veterans to come and do it. And we're seeing that happen right now. And I'm so ecstatic about it because I know that healing is available on a yoga mat.
Well, Dan Nevins, we want to thank you for your service and all that you're doing for those veterans out there and those wounded warriors. Thank you so much for joining us here this week.
Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it.
And for more information about Dan Nevins and the Warrior Spirit Retreat, you can log on to dannevins.com. That's dannevins.com. We'll be back with more Bay Sunday after this break.